Mining, HNT, and passive income, the potential of the People's Network has put participants like you and I in a different world almost. It's like we're living in the untamed wild, wild west. This HNT mining world is full of high IQ geeks, millionaire entrepreneur team builders, and everybody else in between. I think the reason that there's so much intensity and confusion around this space is because everybody is really understanding that the IOT network, it's not theory. It's happening. It's happening right now. We've all watched it grow since it first got our attention. I mean, how many hotspots were deployed when you first started following this? I mean, for me, it was 30,000. Today, it's over 500,000. What about the price of HNT crypto when you first started looking at it? For me, it was around $14 a coin. I've seen it hit as high as $52 in less than a year. So the opportunity to generate long-term passive income is real. It's not going away. It's very unique compared to any other type of business model people may have been exposed to. So when you throw all these people into a melting pot, you end up with hundreds, if not thousands, of different opinions, articles, and videos that are spread all over the internet. In this podcast, what I want to do is share with you 3 critical key points that I hope that we can get some type of agreement on regarding and considering for those of you that are considering getting involved in this very, very exciting project.
Welcome to the MLMsuccess.com podcast, the show designed to return the network marketing industry to its roots of personal growth, leadership development, and wisdom of the ages success principles. We share with you real success stories from real people that we hope will inspire and encourage you personally and help you progress forward in your business and your life. We believe if you build people, people will build the business. Now here is your host, who has been called the #1 mind in network marketing, the MLM prophet, network marketing virtual mentor, and a host of other names that we will not mention because this is a family show. Frankly, he's just a small-town guy that figured out that the real product in network marketing is people. Dale Calvert.
Hey, this is Dale Calvert. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. I hope you've had an awesome week. You know, I say that every week, but I really mean that. I sincerely mean that. I hope you've had a great week. I mean, my loyalty is to entrepreneurial spirited people. That's my loyalty. That's where my passion is to work and teach and learn from those type of people, entrepreneurial spirited people, no matter what you're involved with. But if you spent the last week working towards your personal worthy goals, congratulations. You know, some people spend week after week after week gaining knowledge, but they don't do anything with the knowledge. Knowledge without action leads to self-delusion. So I hope you've had a great week working towards your worthy goals and you've progressed. That's really what it's all about, progressing every day, every week, focusing on why you're doing what you're doing. Before we get into this week's content, I do want to just mention real quickly the book club that we offer, cmgbookclub.com, cmgbookclub.com. Shelley Giddings is the moderator there, and she heads that up, and she does an awesome job, and there's a lot of very people that use their brains, you know, thought-provoking thinkers, entrepreneur-spirited people that are working on different projects that are part of that. And it's just a great group. I hope you'll check it out. Right now, they're going through the book called Deep Work. I was able to listen in last week, and it was just really, really good. And that book is intense, to say the least, but it's, for me, was very valuable when I first read it. I know coming up, they've got, I think it's in the beginning of March, they're going to be doing the 12 Rules of Life by Dr. Jordan Peterson, which is another phenomenal book. And, you know, if you've never read that book and you want to get in on that and the book club, it might be a great time. So go check that out. There's no cost or anything. It's just a free service that we provide, cmgbookclub.com, and that will always help you have a very good week when you start off your Mondays with that great group of people. I've had a phenomenal week. I got to watch my granddaughter last night start her first ever high school basketball game, her first ever start as a freshman, and just so proud of her as a freshman out there playing with these juniors and seniors. She's been playing on the JV team and leading them all year long, and doing just a phenomenal job even as a freshman playing with, sophomores and juniors. And to get her first start last night, it brought tears to my eyes, honestly. So I've had a great week. I've talked to a lot of interesting people, a lot of really great people, a lot of team builders, experienced team builders who are really starting to understand what's going on with Ihub Global. It's been very interesting, very fascinating. Listen to different people and their perspectives, and it's reminded me of how far I've come on this journey when I first started looking at the whole concept of mining, HNT about a year ago, and the progress and all that I've learned and all that I've begun to realize during this process. So we're going to get into some of that. I hope you guys had a great Valentine's Day. This podcast is actually being recorded before Valentine's Day, but it'll drop on Tuesday the 15th, the day after. Don and I will have a great one, and I hope you guys did as well. But let's get into a couple of things before we actually get into the meat of this session. Guys, my plan at this moment is to start a new podcast, hopefully within the first half of 2022, during the first half of the year. That's my goal. And sure, I could go ahead and if I had the opportunity to just focus and get it done, I could do that. Within a week or so, we could knock it out, but I just don't have that type of devoted, deep work time at the moment. And I don't even know what it will be called. It might be called Baby Boomer Crypto or something. I haven't really decided yet what I want to do. Probably the safest bet based upon, my thoughts around trends in the market and my desire to be able to play in the entrepreneurial game as long as I can. I'll probably just call it the Dale Calvert Show, 40 years of the entrepreneurial journey, or something like that. I really don't know yet, but I do plan on starting a new podcast within the first half of this year. I see this podcast in the near future, as just interviews with Ihub Global team members talking about their journey to financial independence. That's what I see happening with the MLM Success Stories podcast. And honestly, when I say that, it gives me chills. It just gives me chills because I am so thankful and feel so fortunate that is a real possibility, that this whole podcast week after week can be nothing but just hearing from, single moms and baby boomers and people from all walks of life all over the world that got involved with Ihub Global at the right time, right company, right team, being our team, of course, and are absolutely documented stories of their growth and work towards financial independence. I mean, it really gives me chills because I can feel that and see that happening with this particular podcast in a really short period of time. Okay, with that said, this week I need to do my best to cut through the clutter regarding helium mining at this time and place in history, which again, this session is scheduled to be dropped on Tuesday the 15th, 2022. I seem to be having the same conversations over and over. And when that happens throughout my history, what I've always tried to do is produce some type of audio. Back in the day, it was an audio cassette. today it's podcast for selfish reasons. It's just time for me to record this particular podcast session. I know team members will share it with the right people. And ultimately my goal in this session is to find some common sense points of agreement that everyone in this space can come together and agree on. Common sense points. That's really what I want to speak about. And ultimately this session will save myself and a lot of our team members a lot of time. Several have asked for a session like this, and this is just the week to get it knocked out. It's actually, I'm recording on Super Bowl Sunday. I'm going to be watching the Super Bowl here real soon. So I just want to cover these 3 points. You're either going to feel it, see it, understand it or not. I understand people, all of us, see things not as they are, but as we are. So if someone sent this session to you, my hope is that you will listen, and then you'll be able to have a more productive win-win conversation with that person that actually sent you this podcast, that you guys can have a really good conversation. If you need to figure out who the heck is this guy, why should I listen to him, which is always a good question to ask, you can learn more than you would ever want to know at dalecalvert.com. So at the time of this recording, all experienced professional network marketing team builders who have taken the time to really look at this program understand nothing like this has ever existed in the history of affiliate marketing, network marketing, or team building. It hasn't. And I've watched the light bulb go on over and over with dozens of experienced network marketing team builders who take the time to dismiss their assumptions. Just don't look at it from their assumptions and start sincerely looking for the red flags, trying to figure out what they're not seeing with the Ihub Global program. And what happens is they quickly start to see the upside financial potential of developing a team of just, 50, 500, maybe 5,000, 10,000, or 30,000 affiliates, or even more. And they start seeing the financial potential that they have never seen this type of income potential with any other program. They've never seen it. Nobody has, because it hasn't existed until now. Then when and why people would never unplug a box that is making them passive income when that light bulb goes on and they start getting so excited about what is happening. They start experiencing the excitement like in their minds, it's like, why would anybody ever unplug a box that's creating passive income for them? Exactly. And they start relating it to some of the auto ship programs or whatever they've been involved in the past. And they start thinking about, what if everybody that I ever had in XYZ company all were still ordering products today? What would my check look like? And things start really coming together for these people. And again, I've watched these light bulbs go on and on and on, and then they get excited. And it's like, it's 1995 and Success Magazine has just published their network marketing We Create Millionaires cover story all over again. That's how they feel. And for many people, myself included, they never expected to feel that way about team building ever again for the rest of their life, because they understand the dissipation that's hit this business model over the last 5, 10, 15 years. There's a lot of self-proclaimed gurus have been trying to teach people how to do that which they've never done. So I see that and have experienced that many times over the last 90 days, and it never gets boring. It's just so exciting to watch these light bulbs just start boom, 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 start clicking on in experienced team builders' minds. Then on the other end of the spectrum, you have very highly educated, very technical, very skilled people who have been studying the helium mining ecosystem for years, some of them since 2017. And again, watching and reading and listening to them, they're really excited about building out the IOT network and blown away with the amount of passive income that can be generated and that they've been able to generate doing so. I mean, they get really fired up about it. And for some of them, they're placing 6 or 12 hotspots out and about. And for them, in their mind, this income that they're generating is like the holy grail of passive income. It's blowing them away, and they're getting fired up about it. And I'm excited for them. So that's the IoT mining landscape as I see it right now today. On one end, you have skilled professional team builders, entrepreneurs. And on the other end, you've got intelligent, geeky techs on the other end. Now, can someone be a geeky tech and also be a skilled team builder? It's possible, but probably not, because it requires an abnormal amount of knowledge, either on the technical side or on the human development people side, team building side. And most people that possess that much intellect don't take the time to focus on the human emotional aspects of building a team. But it takes both groups. Both groups bring a lot to the table, and both have the ultimate goal in mind, which is to see the Helium IOT network fully built out and functional within society. And I've got 3 main points that I hope we can agree on and get some consensus in this session. And that's the first point. We should all be able to agree on that point. And the point being that everyone involved in Helium, IoT, the Internet of Things, People's Network, have the same goal in mind, which is to see the Helium IoT network fully built out, functional, and providing value in society, which it already is, but we all want to see that continue to build out and continue to provide more and more value to all mankind. So hopefully we can agree on point number 1. We all want to see it built out to its potential. So hopefully we can agree. I don't think there's anybody listening to this podcast, what end of the spectrum you're on, that doesn't agree with that. So let's continue. In my mind, you have these 2 groups of people, and then you have dozens of what we'll just call subgroups in between these 2 groups. In these subgroups, you'll find traditional business owners. You'll find baby boomers that are maybe thinking about creating a retirement income. You've got young parents thinking about college education for their children and creating a college fund. You have people that are participating in their very first ever side gig. I mean, they've never sold on eBay. They've never done anything with Amazon FBA. They're familiar with Shopify stores, but they've never had one. And this is their very first side gig. So we have first-time side gig participants. We've got crypto investors involved in this world. We've got newbie miners that are just starting to get involved in the mining cryptocurrency space. And we have those that are experienced running large crypto mining farms. And the number of subcategories within this world of interesting people, it goes on and on and on and on and on. All walks of life from all over the world, all different types of backgrounds and experiences, all over. So what happens is when you throw all these people into a melting pot, you end up with hundreds, if not thousands, of different opinions, articles, and videos that are propagated all over the internet. As an entrepreneur and a team builder, the only question I really need to ask myself is, what is the upside potential that I feel confident that the facts provide and prove exist? What is the facts here? And then how much time, energy, and effort should I put towards this project, understanding this is not a long-term 30-year game plan. It's not. This is like an 18-month, 24-month, maybe 36-month build out until the USA is totally built out, in my opinion. And, I'm not used to thinking that way. Honestly, I'm just not. I'm used to thinking 5, 10, 15, 25, 30 years from now, what's this going to mean to my great-grandchildren? That's the way I look at projects and look at different business opportunities normally, but this is not that. This is 1836-month land grab, period. This is a land grab, and that's just the truth. So there's a sense of urgency like many have never experienced before. And it creates all kinds of emotions when you have that type of sense of urgency on you. And then you have others with different backgrounds and experiences that aren't experienced team builders, but are involved here. And they're coming from a completely different mindset, and they're asking themselves questions like, should I order a hotspot now from a manufacturer knowing that I'm going to have to wait months and months for delivery? Or should I just pay 5 times the normal retail and order a hotspot on eBay knowing that, the unit I receive might be defective and not even work? And then you still have others who own their hotspots right now, and they're just trying to figure out the placement location and what kind of antenna to use. And should they use a aftermarket antenna, or is the stock antenna that came with their box, their hotspot, is that good enough? And these people have a whole list of questions and concerns, and there's all types of conflicting opinions in the marketplace, and there's thousands more questions, and it goes on and on and on and on. And I think the reason there is so much intensity and confusion is because everyone understands, hey, this is not a theory, it's happening. I mean, I don't know when you got involved or when you started paying attention to this, but how have the hotspot deployments grown since you got involved, since you started? So the opportunity to generate long-term passive income is real. It's not going away. It's very unique compared to other types of business models people have seen or been exposed to. And in my opinion, yes, it's better than anything I've seen as someone who studied the home business market since starting my first business, out of my parents' home when I was 14 years old. I've never seen anything like this. So where do you fall in the melting pot of people? Where do you fall? What do you need to do to take advantage of this time and place in history? For me personally, it was a no-brainer. I mean, I heard a young man talking about helium mining on a podcast. I did about 10 hours of investigation. I ordered 6 of them. And it wasn't a matter of return on investment, ROI for me. For me, it's always about return on time, ROT. That's where my focus is. And I've said many times publicly that I believe that anyone who is involved with our Ihub Global team and will devote a minimum of 5 focused hours a week to the program, following our proven copy and paste promotional systems that we share freely with team members, that I sincerely believe that they can, if they get involved today, can generate a 50,000 plus lifetime annual residual income. I believe that. That's my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor and so on and so forth, but that's what I see here. And those are not figures that I pulled out of the air. Those are based upon the numbers as we see them, based upon the strategic placement of hotspots, the current price of helium, the projected price of helium, the intelligent use of third-party antennas, and other factors, mainly the marketing expertise and training our Ihub team members bring to the table and provide freely to everyone on our team who is plugged in and doing the work. So when I share my personal opinion on the subject or in blogs or in videos, I'm spending far too much time trying to explain my position. I've personally talked with people telling me that they're earning $8,000 a month with one box. $8,000. Guy swore to me with one box. And others who say they have owned a miner for over a year, and in a year it hasn't mined one HNT in a month. So I'm all over the spectrum. And frankly, I don't care about the personal stories of others. I try to keep my mind focused on documented facts. What can be documented? Just because one person's miner is doing awesome and another person's is doing terrible has nothing to do with the opportunity and the future we all have in front of us. Has nothing to do with it. Oh, Dale, he's doing great, so I want to join. Well, that's the wrong reason to join. Oh, Dale, I know somebody and they've only mined one coin in 12 months. So that's not for me. That's a stupid way to make a business decision, in my opinion. Now, I'm going to say something here that I know many may not understand. And when we don't understand as human beings, myself included, we tend to default to the negative or disagreement mindset, even when we have no practical experience to defend our position. So I understand that as I go into it, as I make this statement, but here it goes. I don't care if my personal box only creates one HNT a year, not a day, not a month, a year. And I understand that many of you are saying to yourself right now, Dale, how could you honestly say that? You don't care if your box only produces one HNT a year? You'll lose money. So before we go too far down that rabbit hole, let me just say, see if we can find a second point of agreement. Okay, because I don't want to go down this rabbit hole. I've gone down it too many times in the last 90 days or so with individuals already. So let's see if we can find a second point of agreement. J. Paul Getty said this, and he was the richest man in the world at the time that he said this quote. So understand, it's not from Dale Calvert, entrepreneur and team builder. This is coming from Mr. Getty. And he said, I would rather earn 1% on the efforts of 100 people than I would 100% on my own efforts. I would rather earn 100% or 1% of the efforts of 100 people than I would 100% on my own efforts. And as a general financial principle, can we all agree with Mr. Getty's point? Let me say it one more time. I would rather earn 1% on the efforts of 100 people than I would earn 100% on my own efforts. This undebatable, common sense business philosophy is why every successful business owner decides to franchise their business. Think about it. That's why they franchise their business, for the small franchise fee that they will receive on the number of franchises that are developed. And it doesn't matter if we're talking about Ray Kroc and McDonald's or Mary Maids or Fast Signs or Keller Williams Realty. It really doesn't matter. According to StatusDI Business Services, in 2020, there was an estimated 753,770 franchise establishments just in the United States. Just in the United States. Over 753,000. So, as a general business principle, can we all agree that what J. Paul Getty shared is just really common business sense? I would rather earn 1% on the efforts of 100 people than I would earn 100% on my own efforts. I believe that if we can remove our emotions and get those out of the equation and get all the what ifs and what abouts and I don't knows out of our mind. And again, I understand that people's minds are full of the I don't knows, what ifs, and all that runs through people's minds. But if we can get all that out of our mind and just look at the principle for what the principle is, it's common sense. And as I say that, I still have ringing in my ears of the dozens of conversations I've had with intelligent, well-meaning people who've asked me, Dale, why, I don't understand. I just don't get it. Why should I have an Ihub box, plugged into my house that pays me 25% when I can buy an XYZ miner, whatever kind they're looking at, and earn 100%. Why would anybody do that? Why should I do that? And honestly, I just don't have the ability. Honestly, if you don't have the ability to follow a proven copy and paste team building system, or you don't understand the common sense logic behind why successful business people create franchises, then I really don't have the energy to try to explain what, in my mind, is just obvious. Especially when I've already explained it in detail in the video you supposedly watched before we got on the phone together. And I'm not trying to be mean or rude or anything like that. I'm just being, this is just the way I feel about it. It is what it is. But so I wish you the best. I mean, order your individual box. And I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll include an article in the show notes wherever you hear this podcast that will help you figure out which one of these boxes is probably going to be best for you. And I wish you well, and I mean that. Because I understand, working with people over the years and building teams, that people see things not as they are. They see things as they are. So I'll include, the article is called something like The Best Crypto Miner of 2022 or something like that. And I'll put the link in the show notes. And I have no doubt that we lost a few on point number 2, but hopefully most of you are still with me. So let's continue to the most important point. But before we do, let me just confirm that, and I want you guys to know, everybody listening to this, that I think mining helium and setting up a hotspot in your home or business is a great, maybe the greatest side gig opportunity I've ever seen. But I also feel that when it's all said and done, and this is all built out, I believe that Ihub Global may go down in history as possibly the best team building opportunity for wealth creation and even legacy income that many people will ever see in their lifetime. I think it's much bigger than finding 6 or 12 boxes you can place around in different locations. Much, much, much bigger than that. And I also know in my gut, and I just know this because I've seen it. I'm seeing it every single day with different people that are joining our team on a daily basis. I know that anyone who can just follow the proven copy and paste system can experience financial success building a team here because of the psychological acceptance and curiosity regarding the crypto space that is in the market around the world. And the market creates the opportunity. See, the market creates the opportunity. The market is crypto curious. The market could care less about the next high-flying nutritional product or skincare face goop or whatever. They don't care. They've seen it too many times. They've heard about too many products. They've been disappointed too many times. But when you talk about cryptocurrency, there's a psychological acceptance and curiosity in the marketplace, and that's why this is growing at the pace that it's growing. So with that said, let me get to point number 3. And point number 3 is this, and it's really important. Until the IOT network is built out, it's completed. Until it's built out, the math, and therefore the passive income potential, is unpredictable and cannot be determined. I'm going to say that again. Until the IoT is built, it's done, it's complete. The math, and therefore the passive income potential, is unpredictable and cannot be determined. To make this discussion easier, I'm going to talk about the build out of Helium, the IoT Internet of Things network in the United States. But the same logic applies throughout the world. It's not just U.S., it's throughout the world. The logic is the logic. And at the time of this recording, we personally have our Ihub Global team. Ihub Global team is in 17 countries around the world, around the world. However, at this time, Ihub Global and our team is focusing on building out the network in the United States, and very, very soon, like within 30 days, for sure, Canada and Europe, and eventually the rest of the world. So we have people in different parts of the world, different countries that are focusing their marketing efforts, building out an affiliate team in the United States. So from a real broad perspective, again, when I started looking at this in January of 2021, right after I heard that young man on a podcast, I looked and there was about 30,000 deployed hotspots around the world. Today there's 500,000. And I've read and heard multiple times that the engineers and data scientists are projecting that when there's approximately 3 million hotspots online in the USA, no more hotspots will be needed and no more will be manufactured or allowed to be placed in the United States market. The Helium IOT network will be built. Again, this logic applies to Canada, Australia, Russia, and every country around the world. There's only X number of hotspots needed per country. So from a logical point of view, from my perspective, until that number hits $3 million in the $3 million boxes, hotspots in the United States, nobody knows for sure how this is going to look when it's all built out until it's built out. Once the network is built out, then the math can be applied as it relates to the number of HNT tokens a specific box in a specific location with a specific antenna can expect to mine. Once it's built out and done, then we can look at the math as it applies and relates to the number of HNT tokens a specific box in a specific location with a specific antenna can expect to mine. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? I think that's a very important fact. Realistically, there could be hotspots online today that are mining 1 token a month that could be mining 30 or more in a few months or a year from now or 2 years from now, based upon the number of new hotspots being developed in their area and the number of new products and inventions pinging off them every single day and every single month. Does that make sense? So you could have a hotspot right now, and some of you listening probably do. And you say, well, Dale, I had 1.3 HNT mine last month. Okay, so what? Or you could have, say, and it could go the other direction. You could say, Dale, I had 200 HNT mine last month. Cool. That's awesome for you right now. But that 200 could go to 20 or go to 2 over the next 2-3 years, however long it takes to build this out. The person that has 1 could go to 200. We don't know. There's too many factors that are not in play yet. And we cannot try to do math based upon a moving target. This is a moving target. And again, the number of hotspots that are going to be deployed in your area and the number of new products and inventions pinging off of them is going to make a huge impact in the long term. Fortune Business Insights, they did a report, and the report was titled The Internet of Things, IoT. The Internet of Things, IoT Market 2020 through 2027. And the report mentions that the market in the United States in 2019, the total market in the U.S. was $250.72 billion. That's how huge that market was in 2019. And if you ask most people, have you ever heard of the Internet of Things? They stare at you like a deer staring in headlights. 99% of the people in the United States have not heard of the IOT network yet. And it's a $250 billion industry. And this report went on and it said it's projected to reach, I guess this is a trillion. It's 143. What I got it written? 1,463 1,463.19 billion. So that's 7-8 times growth by 2027. With a compound annual growth rate of 24.9%. The CAGR is going to be 24.9% a year every year between now and 2027, again, based upon this report from Fortune Business Insights. They said heightened demand for artificial intelligence and twin technology and precision farming by industries worldwide will stoke the market. That's what this report is talking about, and it's what it said. So when I sit back and I look at those facts from third-party sources, unless I'm missing something, to put a lot of emphasis on how well or how poorly an individual hotspot is doing as it relates to producing passive income for the owner at this point in time is a waste of time and thought, because you're trying to apply math to a moving target that is and will continue to consistently change until the network is built out. It's going to consistently change. So the income projections we've shared publicly have always been with the numbers that we had at the time that the info was released, the article or the video or whatever was released. It's always been based upon the information and numbers we had at the time. But as I see it, until the IoT network is built out and the math and therefore the passive income potential, it's going to be unpredictable. My broad opinion, based only upon my experience building teams and none of the techie side of this project, tells me it should take around 24 months to build out this network in the United States. That's my off-the-wall, uneducated opinion. Again, I could be off by years, but that's my opinion. Some say it's going to take 5 years. Nobody really knows how long it's going to take or how much income will be generated for members until after it is built. After it's built, you'll have really good math and you'll have really good projections and you'll really have a really good understanding. You know, my personal goal is if there's going to be 3 million hotspots in the United States between now and 2027 or whenever this network is totally built out, I believe it'll for sure be within 5 years, but it may be within 18 months. It could be within 12 months. Nobody knows, but if there's going to be 3 million, according to all the computer scientists, that's how many is going to be needed in the United States, and we got to have 3 million in the U.S., then I want 30,000 of them to be on our team. I want 30,000 to be on our team. I want, 10%. And I'm able to say that with confidence because I know what it feels like to build a team twice as large as that. I know what it feels like to build a team of over 60,000 independent contractors. In the past, I've done it. So don't ask me about the technical aspects of the hotspots or the watts in the aftermarket antenna. That's not my expertise. It's like you're talking Chinese to me. I don't get it. I don't understand it. But we have members that are experts in the technical aspects of mining HNT that are part of our team. So as I see it, because of the team building aspects Ihub Global offers today, and this will be dropping, the earliest you could possibly be hearing it is February 15th, 2022. Because of that, from today until the time this network is built out around North America and the world, there will be some visionary Ihub Global team members, I believe, that will become millionaires. And I know and feel in my soul that thousands of families, individuals, as well as individuals, will have the opportunity to create financial peace and a level of financial independence that may be very hard for them to really fully understand at this time and place and moment. And based upon the facts, I just don't see how any way this is not going to happen. Do you? How can this not happen? The Helium IoT network will not be built out, if I'm not around or if you're not around, the Helium IOT Network, it's going to be built out with or without me, with or without you. It cannot be stopped. And again, I believe there'll be many people on our team that will create total financial independence and give themselves a level of financial peace that they cannot even wrap their minds around right now. And I am planning on some of our people becoming millionaires. My biggest run in this profession, we were able to help over 200 people become six-figure earners, and 3 of them became millionaires. And I believe we can double that, maybe even quadruple that with this program over the next few years. That's my sincere belief. Again, my humble opinion. So just to wrap it up, I want to review the 3 key points of this session. Number 1, everyone involved in the Helium IoT People's Network have the same goal in mind, which is to see Helium and the IoT Internet of Things network fully built out and functional and providing value within society. That's number 1. I think everybody can agree on that. Number 2, I believe common sense tells us as a financial principle, just a blanket financial common sense principle, I would rather earn 1% on the efforts of 100 people than I would earn 100% of my own efforts. And many of you that are experienced team builders understand it's not just about getting them in. It's not just about getting them in. It's about getting them in, keeping them in, and helping them move forward towards their goals. As Zig Ziglar taught us years ago, you can have anything in life you want if you help enough other people get what they want. That's the real focus when we're talking about that, about 1% of 100 people's efforts. It's about your long-term value is in direct proportion to the value you provide to the market that you serve. And the market I serve is my team. And that's the way I've always looked at it. That's the way I've always looked at it. That's the way I always will. That's the way I've always taught it. That's the way I'll always teach it. Our whole culture within our team, it's about helping other people define what they want and then work towards it and progress towards it on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. That's what we do. So that's number 2. It's better to earn royalties on the efforts of other people. And how much you support and work with those people and help those people ultimately determine what those royalties will be. Number 3, between today and when this network is built out, my personal belief, again, based upon the facts as we know them, many people that are part of our Ihub Global team will create financial independence, and some will become millionaires. That's my 3 key points. There'll be very few people that try to buy enough hotspots and place them themselves as individuals that will create incomes even remotely close to what we will do and what we are doing currently with our team. So it's just a matter of where do you want to spend your time. The only question people really need to ask, as far as I'm concerned, the only thing I really think you need to ask yourself is at what level do you want to participate? Do you want to lease an Ihub Global hotspot for $18 or so a month? That's cool. Invest $18 a month on a lease payment, lease your hotspot, or does a $400 refundable deposit for your hotspot box make more sense for you? And yes, I said refundable, $400 refundable deposit. When you just stop and look at it from a financial standpoint, what's the worst thing that could happen? You could plug the thing in. It doesn't produce one HNT coin for you for 6 or 7 months. Nobody that you know is crypto curious. None of your copy and paste promotions work. Nobody responds. And you're 6-7 months into it. You haven't made a nickel. Nobody's on your team, and you decide, hey, I'm sending this box back, which they'll love to have it, believe me, because they need them. And you'll send the box back, and you get your deposit release from escrow. Really, if you just stop and look at it from that perspective, it's like, what are we worried about losing here? And just to kind of wrap this up, I can promise everyone that hears this podcast, every single person that's hearing my voice right now, if this continues to play out as it has to this point, everyone who hears this podcast will be saying to themselves in 5 years regarding joining our Ihub Global team. Everybody regarding joining our Ihub Global team. And you do that by getting back with the person that sent you this audio. Everyone hearing my voice will be saying one of two things in 5 years, and I sincerely believe that, and that is either I'm glad I did or I wish I had. I'm glad I did or I wish I had. Thank you for your attention. Please get back to the person that sent this session to you and get your questions answered. If we haven't met, I look forward to meeting you in the future, shaking your hand, hugging your neck. Have a great week this week, and I really mean that. I mean, I'm going to have a great week. I'm getting ready to go watch the Super Bowl and hopefully cheer on my childhood team, the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't have a dog in the hunt, but I'd like to see them win it. But if they do, great. If they don't, I'm still going to have a phenomenal week, and I hope you will too. Check out the cmgbookclub.com if you would like to. This is Dale Calvert. I'll talk to you next week on another session of the MLM Success Podcast.
If you haven't gone over to iTunes yet and rated and left this podcast a review, what are you waiting for? At Calvert Marketing Group, we want to spend our time on the projects that we know are providing the most value for our clients and customers. You leaving us a review and feedback on iTunes is something that helps us more than you realize. And more importantly, it helps others like you find us. So if you've not taken the time to rate this podcast, please go over to iTunes and do that for us now. It will only take a couple of minutes out of your busy schedule. Work harder on yourself than you do on your business, and we will be back next week with another inspiring success story, wisdom of the ages training, or answers to your questions.